So what are we killing today?
I don't know, I think it's giant alien robots or something.
Giant alien robots? If it's not giant alien robots, it's giant alien monsters.
Yeah, I know.
When are they ever gonna leave us alone, these aliens?
I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm hungry for that breakfast again, or maybe some lunch even. Hey! Whoa! Look out! Hey! While you're up there, you want to see if they got any cheeseburgers?
Hello and welcome to Random Movie Time. Today we are discussing the 2017 film Revolt. This is a film that stars Lee Pace and Bérénice Marlohe, and it's directed by Joe Miale, or Miale, I'm not sure, sorry. In the middle of an alien invasion, an amnesia-struck U.S. soldier and a French foreign aid doctor team up to cross the Kenyan wilderness in hopes of finding the soldier's home base. What do you think of this film, Tommy?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. When we saw the thumbnail, it just looked like another one of those generic, straight-to-streaming, Independence Day / Transformers rip-off type movies with giant robots, and it looked like it was going to be really, really bad. And it sort of started out bad. Like it started out very low-key with, this jail scene where he wakes up in jail, and I was like, it wasn't, filling me with confidence by that point. But the movie got better and better as it went along. I ended up actually getting invested in these characters, feeling a little bit tense, wondering if they were going to make it, The dialogue wasn't fantastic, but the actors were really good. And the story wasn't as unoriginal as you might first have suspected. It did remind me a little bit of Edge of Tomorrow. There's a sort of a gimmick in it that I won't give away, but it sort of reminded us a little bit of that gimmick in Edge of Tomorrow. But I'd have to say that, cinematography, acting, locations, the cast, it really wasn't bad at all. It was a rather enjoyable movie. What did you think, Shannon?
Yes, I liked it too. I was surprised. As soon as I saw the description, I was like, oh god, it's gonna be another one of these lame military alien movies. But then I saw Lee Pace, and I was like, oh gosh, I bet it's gonna be a better caliber then. And it was really well done. Lee Pace is, I would say he's probably up there with one of my more, I wouldn't say favorite actor, but he's up there for me. Everything I've seen him in, I'm really impressed with him. I think the first time I ever saw Lee Pace was in the TV series *Halt and Catch Fire*, which was really well done. Bérénice Marlohe, she's a French actress, and she was actually in the James Bond film Skyfall as well, and she was very good. And I think with lesser actors, the dialogue could have seemed very stilted, but they handled it very well. One issue I had with it regarding dialogue was there were some scenes where all the characters would be speaking the native language, whatever African language. Like there were, I think, 2 or 3 different African languages they were speaking in the film, which was really cool. But they didn't have subtitles, so you didn't know what was going on. And normally I would be okay with that if that was one of the characters didn't understand and you're in that character's shoes kind of thing. But all of the characters in the screen understood each other. So to exclude the audience for that, I didn't think it worked very well. It was really cool to hear those languages, though. It was really neat. And I think that they really wanted to film it in Kenya, but there were some restrictions, so they couldn't do it. So they filmed in and around Johannesburg, which was really nice. The scenery was quite beautiful. Lot of amazing little bit parts. Millions of people in this film, even though it focused mainly on Lee Pace's character and Bérénice Marlohe's character traversing the countryside. There were a lot of supporting actors along the way as well, which were really good. Or one thing that I did like about this film was I found that alien machines really interesting looking. Like, they looked like sculptures. And they had kind of this like fire in the belly. And they were kind of roughly hewn, kind of. They never make it clear whether they're like sentient machine aliens or they're just machines used by aliens. They never make that clear, but it doesn't really matter. They're really, really interesting looking creatures, and you do feel that dread when you hear that noise. And I'm with you. I did feel very invested in the characters. It was really great, and it's such a short film too. So for them to really pull you in and feel that way, then I'm in. You know, it worked really well. They did something that made you feel something for those characters in a very short time. So they did it quite well. Do you have anything else to add, or?
No, well, except maybe about the subtitles. This might not be the movie's fault because we saw it on a streaming service, and sometimes I find it's the streaming service that screws up whether the subtitles are in at the right place. Like, how many times did we have to turn off German subtitles when we started watching Foundation or something like that, or The Expanse? They would just appear. It didn't matter how many times we set English as a default, it would just all of a sudden start showing German subtitles for some reason at the start of the movie. So I think these streaming services haven't really locked down how the subtitles work yet, so that might have been the problem.
Well, that's a separate issue though, because what I mean is that the film itself should have had the subtitles on it.
True, but it depends how they do it. Like, sometimes the subtitles will be baked into the actual print, and it'll be, optical subtitles on it.
Yeah.
But sometimes they request, like the streaming services request, like a clean version of the film that they can add the subtitles to digitally after, so that they can add German or Chinese or whatever they have to more easily. So it really could have been that, but it could also have been a weird artistic choice, like you were saying, that wasn't such a great choice either. So
yeah, and sometimes you're like, well, whatever, they're speaking a foreign language, why do I need to understand it? But I think in this case it would have added more if you really understood what they were saying.
I think so too.
Yeah, because there was one part in particular that had to do with the Lee Pace's character's identity. And Lee Pace's character is named Bo in the film. Bo is struck with amnesia, so he's trying to figure out who he is and where he comes from. And the scene where they were talking to these Kenyans, they recognize a tattoo on him, and they're talking about that, and he's like, oh, you know this tattoo? And so you kind of miss something there. So I think in that case it would have been really good to understand what they were saying. But if that's the case, like, I didn't realize, I thought that when films did that, they did have it on the film itself, but
not always.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Tommy, how many crazy alien machines do you give this film?
I'll give it 3. Not a classic movie, not an excellent movie, but pretty good. Very fun sci-fi romp through the desert. What about you, Shannon? How many crazy alien robot monsters out of 5?
Yeah, I will give it 3 as well. I really love Lee Pace, and I love all the acting in the film, the supporting actors and the main characters alike. They were all really, really good. And I loved the cinematography and the aliens, the design of the alien machines. Yeah, but as I say, there were just a couple little issues like the subtitles and but other than that, I thought it was really well done. Well, I guess we better get out of here before we hear those aliens coming. So we'll see you next time on Random
Movie Time.